Hello everyone and welcome back to the LCS 2020 Spring Playoffs. Evil geniuses have struck back and they have one game now in the best of 5, but it is still double match point for Cloud9. We'll see if our number 1 seed takes care of business or if we've got the exciting series of the EG reverse sweep.
It is pretty fitting, Freak, how we were looking up the last time someone went undefeated in playoffs after game 2, just because it looked like there was no way that this C9 team could be slowed down. And wouldn't you have it, as soon as we mentioned the last time a team went undefeated in playoffs was 2015 summer, they lose. C9 loses. They're not going to have an undefeated playoff, so we know they are at least a little bit mortal. It took a lot for EG to win that game. They were down over 5,000 gold in the mid-game, and then were able to clutch back-to-back team fights to take it back. So now C9 has retaken blue side. There's no way EG is getting that first pick of Felios, and let's see if C9 can close him out.
Well, CLG's record stays safe, but Cloud9 can still make it a convincing victory here. They've still had the best 15 minutes of any team in the league by far. They get on the Varus yet again. Sure, it lost them last time, but now EG might say, hey, we'll take your Tahm Kench away, show us something different, and they still keep the Gragas in there. Yeah,
so they can definitely create a lot of threat onto Zven's Varus. You heard the analyst desk talking about the damage per minute difference between Zven and Bang last game, and it was over 400 because really Zven didn't have any impact in the game, and okay, they blitzcranked. That is not your peel for Varus. That is your, we're going for Kench and trying to get picks throughout the mid game.
Yeah, and I like the idea of Cloud9 having more engaged tools, more ways to play aggressively. Yes, they had that with Talia Pantheon last game, but they faltered by mid-game, and so now EG say, all right, what can we play to lane well against Varus Blitzcrank? It's Ashe plus Tahm Kench. So we've got mirrored bot lanes here. Once again, a desync top versus jungle. And for those of you watching on ESPN, you are heading to a quick commercial break. For those of you online, stick around.
And last time we saw the Aatrox blind into the second phase of bans was actually last game, when the two bans that Cloud9 threw out was Renekton and Camille. But the Poppy actually showed a large amount of effectiveness. So if we're looking to see something similar from this round, where Licorice is trying to get as big an advantage as possible, that's what we'd see. But actually, since EG will have first dibs on whatever mid they want, if they opt not to counterpick, they're just throwing bans at Jiizuke.
Yeah, I like this. The Nocturne ban continues on. I think that makes a whole lot of sense. I want to see a Poppy ban here legitimately. I actually want to see Cloud9 say, you know what? Like, I was legitimately surprised they actually banned Renekton or Camille. Because in what world does Licorice lose that matchup against Kumo?
Yeah.
Of the 10 players here, and these are teams, by the way, who won their first best of 5 to get here, Kumo was the only player on either team to have a negative gold difference in the first 10 minutes of the game. The only player with a weak laning phase. Regardless of that, like EG, obviously we're still able to pick up wins, that's good, but I feel like if you're Licorice, go ahead and take the fighter matchup. You're going to win that anyway with the caliber of player you are. That Poppy is still up though. Cloud9 preferred to ban away Jiizuke, so the Poppy, who more or less neutralized Licorice last game and tanked well in team fights afterwards, he gets to play it again.
Yep, completely agree. It's working in the favor of EG most likely to allow Kumo to play weak side and still be effective when it comes to the team fight phase. But we're really going to see the rest of the C9 comp come together here. They banned out many mid laners and now have to blind pick something for Nisqy. Nisqy's had a really diverse champion pool. Probably has to bring magic damage into the fold here, so won't be able to play a melee champ like a Yasuo or an Aurelia.
Yeah, seems like, I mean, unless you want a melee champ like Fizz or Diana, which again, I'm not expecting. Katarina,
Rumble.
This is the time.
Yeah,
Rumble, hey,
he's gonna rumble.
You mentioned melee magic champions.
Yeah, that's the one. And it's technically a flex pick too. If they really wanted to throw Rumble top and let the Aatrox go mid, depending on what Jiizuke decides to match him with. So let's see. Another tweak to this draft of why the bans would have had to be a little bit different is this is the first draft where C9 hasn't had a true answer for EG's split push. Last game, they had an overwhelming amount of split push answers, which actually made them vulnerable in team fights. But the Nocturne ban here, the Tahm Kench takeaway, means that C9 is actually the stronger team in team fights, and Jiizuke might be unlocked to get a little bit more split pushing done if he can get to that stage.
Now, personally, I would like to see Cloud9 switch the locations of Licorice and Nisqy in this game. I think Rumble Poppy is pretty abusive overall.
Yeah.
I don't think Poppy has good ways into the matchup. She rushes Adaptive Helm. Everyone else on that team has a great time fighting her. I think also Aatrox can look pretty good into Ekko. You can at least get away from the stun cages. So the players aren't going to swap champions. I think that's fine. Keep Licorice in the Aatrox. He's got more reps on it. But I would like to see those players swap lanes.
I mean, it's definitely possible. It hasn't been something that C9 has really done any of. It's generally they're the team that swaps champ rather than swap player. Last year, CLG experimented a little bit with swapping player lanes in one of the, I think the third place playoff match. But more largely, since I do think it will be Nisqy in the mid lane here, this is a really interesting matchup because there's actually a lot of debate about whether or not Ekko is a counterpick into Rumble. We had this earlier on in the year when I think it was PoE played Rumble into Ekko and smashed. Earlier on in the year, though, over in the LPL, Rookie had played Ekko into Rumble and actually gotten multiple solo kills on him. So there's definitely some skill matchup there. Ekko can, at some points, match the wave clear of Rumble, but more importantly, if you can get into mid-game with equal items, Ekko starts winning the side lane. So that's what EG's doing. Again, it's going to be about whether or not that mid-jungle can stand up for EG in trying to set Nisqy behind.
We have to see. Right away, we're going to have a pretty standard-looking early game. We have seen a lot of invades. A lot of invades in these early games. Usually late invades around, 128 in. You suddenly walk in and look for the play. Had a couple of counter punches at both sides, and as Blaber comes topside with Sweeper there, they could easily sweep this ward and go for the invade that we see him do so often.
Ooh, actually gives the experience and the extra gold over to Licorice. That's a smart play. When one person sweeps, the other person kills, you actually both get the gold for the ward. And let's see if Blaber can pull off something devastating on Svenskeren here, because Olaf is one of the strongest early game duelists in the game and also one of the fastest clears. So he would have an opportunity to really set Svenskeren behind if he can predict the right calls and take a large camp advantage in the early game.
I looked up, as you were mentioning mid lane matchups, I looked up one of the online stat aggregators for the expected Rumble vs Ekko matchup, and its conclusion is Ekko wins Rumble wins against Ekko 1.3% less often than expected. Which means that, even after calculating all the win rates and how strong they tend to be in solo queue, Ekko does have a 1.3% sort of additive win rate edge, which makes you say, okay, at least in solo queue, which is not pro play, don't get me wrong, but in general, at home play, Ekko is favored.
Yeah, and early game, though, the Flame Spirit is pretty unmatched. So you can see Nisqy getting a lot of early game push, also knowing that his own jungler has swept out the red buff of the Gragas, so he's not worried about an early game Predator gank as of yet. But okay, yeah, I would agree that the Ekko, at least in that sense, is kind of favored. But if you're thinking about what's the more common pro pick, it's definitely Rumble. So still fascinating to see what'll happen here.
And as we go through the very early parts of the game, we're going to have a small, quick 2-camp lead for Olaf. This is expected in Olaf against pretty much any matchup in League of Legends. Olaf absolutely obliterates the early jungle and, of course, got to steal away some camps. I'm curious how much more efficient Blaber can be as the camps are respawning. There is not a level lead for the Olaf. They're both going to be 3 if they fight for the Scuttle. The Olaf's reasonably healthy, but so is the Gragas, and as Blaber drops the wards away, he's got the Scuttle on the correct side. Since Nisqy's shoved in mid, no one's here to stop that Scuttle play.
Yeah, just tons of overwhelming Olaf power. But if Svenskeren can sneak in the right spot, he's trying to go faster than Blaber, but Blaber's here.
Blaber's already here. 3v3. Decent damage into Vulcan has to go back to grab his axe. Could not find the slow, but they found the pull. Svenskeren has a flash afterwards. They're going to trade blows back and forth. Both teammates have very low champions, and now Kumo has to do the predictive flash. Didn't know if FLICKR should follow through, and now fighting the mid side. A quick shield for Jiizuke, but Nisqy can trade right back afterwards. Takes a turret shot, but shields it, and wins that first trade mid lane.
Yeah, highly questionable body slam there by Svenskeren to go in when Blaber is right there with a level advantage. So I think kind of lucky to get out of that with just a flash burned is they're getting pretty cheeky with those trades in the mid lane.
I like that one, though. Nisqy got himself overheated, went into that silenced form. Jiizuke said, okay, time to re-engage, take that trade. Went well, lands the Q. He's got to be careful. Oh, he flashed to get the pullback. Needs one more auto and finds it. Ooh. First blood, 1v1 for Jiizuke.
Jiizuke, the minions almost kill him afterwards, but he stays alive for now. Down in CS because he's been getting shoved in all game, but knows he has the isolation chance.
He could be spotted, by the way. Licorice walked through the vision radius of Svenskeren, and Jiizuke realized a little bit too late. Aatrox coming for him.
The greed at the end by Jiizuke. He really just wanted to shove out the wave because I can't see the exact experience bar, but there's a chance he could have hit 6 there. What a hook.
He's ignited. He's running low. Snipe is gonna land, and Zven grabs himself a kill in the bottom lane.
Oh, man. Well, this game got interesting in terms of people trying to outplay each other. What could have been a really big moment for Jiizuke, I think is not, because he's still lost a big wave. He's only got 20 CS at 5 minutes, and now they might kill Licorice, who burned flash to get that Jiizuke kill.
Has nowhere to go. They coordinate it well, and finally a gank on the top side is rewarded. A great layering of the crowd control body slam, then the knock backwards. Now re-engage in mid. Nisqy has to respect the fact that he's a 1v2 back there. Shooting gets the shield, gonna stay safe, keeps the farm going. But EG have answered back with a kill. They are only 700 gold down.
They're still in it, as they are still in this series after picking this one up. We're going to watch the solo kill one more time, though. Level 4 versus level 4. Nisqy wants to finish this shove so he can reset, but he gets tagged by one part of the Q. Nisqy actually doesn't get hit by the return on the Ekko Q, but still ends up losing the trade despite bringing Ignite. So you could see what a dangerous game he was doing trying to shove. And yeah, absolutely. Jiizuke thinks he can get that Q and back away, but Licorice knows his flash ranges and gets the kill.
Blaber, ever aggressive. Actually, jeez, this is absurd. Doubling the camp count of the opposing jungler already, as Blaber has added the Drake to his repertoire. Level 5 versus level 5. A lot of XP, a lot of gold. More snipes down to the bottom side. Zven and Vulcan feel comfortable down here in this matchup with that kill. Zven has up the boots of speed, which has got to feel nice. And they shove in that wave and walk around.
Yeah, and the greatness of our observers to catch all these Blitzcrank hooks makes it feel like Vulcan is landing everything down bottom. He's definitely landed a lot, and that's making that a big point of power for C9's bottom lane, and is kind of pulling Blaber towards that side of the map for the overall control. But just like thinking overall, 1,000 gold is good, but EG's definitely still in it. I mean, Jiizuke can get the split going on. I feel like Svenskeren is going to safely farm into level 6, and unless C9 can orchestrate a dive bottom here with Rumble Olaf, EG might be able to stabilize. I think we have a really big moment coming up if C9 tries to use this current mid lane push from Rumble and do something bottom lane. I guess they decide
it happen right now. Yeah, I guess no big play being done right now. Waiting for the ultimates to come through, which should be very soon for the Cloud9 duo lane down here. Svenskeren and Licorice gonna trade blows. Of course, again, no flash get away. Gotta watch out for the rest of these knockups. Explosive cask builds him some space, but Nisqy might come through looking for the equalizer, but they know he can body step back over the wall, so not gonna happen just yet. Jiizuke re-engages, finds some damage on Nisqy as Licorice kites back, has already popped the ulti, and now back to the slow mode, gonna slowly make his way back over. Level 6 on both junglers despite the camp difference. Svenskeren able to walk away, pops the Scryer's Bloom to see what's going on. But that's still going to be the start. Nice pull by Vulcan. Shield comes down for Jiizuke. Equalizer going to miss entirely as he kites away from every single ultimate. Dances a couple of times, puts in the taunt, walks back in.
I mean, yeah, Jiizuke doesn't even have to burn ultimate. And I think EG was losing this Rift Herald anyway after Svenskeren got chunked towards the blue buff. It is just a really weird feeling I have in this series, Freak, where we keep saying, like, oh, C9 is technically ahead on this play, but it feels like they could have been more ahead on the play, so maybe EG should feel happy about it. You know what I mean? Because Svenskeren didn't die on that invade. Nisqy was able to ult back to the wave to continue to keep pressure up, and C9 just hasn't completely run away with it yet, and this weak side Poppy is still unkilled, right? So they're scaling up in these important parts, and Jiizuke is still even gold with Nisqy, so at least EG's game plan is still intact.
Yeah, and realistically, I mean, it's funny because I agree with your point, right? To the one hand, we've been kind of tempered. We've been sort of given this Pavlovian response of, well, Cloud9 started a fight, so we're salivating. Here's the 3 kills. Oh, why is it not 3 kills? The bell rang. What do you mean? But at the same time, we just saw game 3 where it was a 5,000 gold lead and EG won. The scaling difference, not the same. Don't get me wrong. The team comps change the texture of these games every single time, but anytime where C9 are not closing down on a 3,000 gold lead, you're like, well, okay, maybe they really are just slowing down, or teams are figuring them out a little bit, or EG are just playing better.
Yeah, and I've talked about this for a lot of the split, when C9 has been so dominant, and every game they have like a 3,000 or 4,000 gold lead heading into 15 minutes. And I think the strongest part of EG's game is post 15 minutes, and how they're actually able to play the map, or even in last game, how they can coordinate and engage clean team fights. And the fact that C9 has been so far ahead in all of these games, you aren't sure if they're going to be as good in even games. And the people that counter me on this argument say, like, Jat, just because they haven't done it doesn't mean they're going to be bad at it. And I'm not saying they're going to be bad at it, but it's almost impossible for a team as dominant as Cloud9 to get practice playing games even. So, at the very least, EG is more practiced in even games if there ever is a world for them to actually beat C9 in the series. And if they can pick up this kill on the Licorice, that would be huge.
Almost solo someone. Kumo, side Svenskeren walks in for the point blank body slam, and gets that kill picked up. 2-0 on the top side, Svenskeren getting both kills. EG ahead in kill count, but they're under pressure down here. Vulcan is exhausted. Here come the teleport plays. Here comes the fight. Herald will crash.
Double TP.
Money. There's a ton of burst, and Kumo burning down with Ignite, just barely going to survive, grabs his shield. Still though, Blaber finds a single kill, walks away from Zeyzal. Bane's got to be careful as well. Next fight could come through. Equalizer forces the flash. Kumo will barely stay alive, but Nisqy is still hungry. He still wants these kills. Looks for the first slow, looks for the potential TP play on a Licorice, and he's pushing down onto Bang. Zven finds the snipe. Zeyzal cannot flash out. There's 2 kills picked up on the bottom side. All of C9 live. They picked up 3 kills. They got the plates. They get the turret as well.
Well, at least I got to say I think EG stands a chance in an even game, because this game is no longer even. This is a 4,000 gold lead by C9 when EG invests 2 teleports to make it to a bot lane play and still gets run over. That's just a disaster. So right in that fight, Blaber's Olaf was so strong, from the farming he'd done early to completing that warrior enchantment on Olaf. And what was a close game is no longer a close game. 3,500 gold lead for C9.
With bot lane turret already cracked, with double Drakes picked up now already, we're back to the form we saw in the first 2 games where EG don't get to grab anything early on. Now, we'll say, top's at least been pressured. Bang gives himself a turret plate. The one was already grabbed by Kumo and Svenskeren earlier. He now grabs number 2 for himself. Licorice goes for a flash play as he's got to get away from Kumo and Jiizuke. Puts down the chains, gets away from some of it, still finds the knockup though, but is able to walk away. Now the re-engage as Zeyzal is caught on the wrong side of the map, and he is simply outnumbered. Blaber easily throws in the cleaver, gets the kill picked up, and top is ready to be pushed in.
Yeah, Blaber's starting to take over this one. He's going Black Cleaver as well, which I love, on the Warrior Olaf to try and extend the point in time where you're powerful and able to duel people. And he's just kind of running through Ashe and Tahm Kench at this point. So EG, who was stabilizing fairly well early, miss an arrow, kind of took their shot and completely whiffed it with the double TP bottom lane, and now they're suffering the consequences.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough road ahead. This is going to be really, really difficult for EG. We're getting to that 15-minute mark. We're already at that 4,000 gold lead. Question is, once we get there, can EG find their way back in? Vulcan goes to the aggressive play. They could find the stun, but they could find a huge engage. 1 for 0, the flash away just barely. No, Blaber will still burn down. It's a 2 for 1 so far in Cloud9's favor. Evil Genius, sorry, 1 for 1. I take that back. They did not get that first kill as fast as I thought. It's been able to be disengaged. As the recall comes through for Licorice, he's not going to be joining this fight. It's a disengage. A 1 for 1 is not the worst thing of all time.
Yeah. Also getting the shutdown onto Blaber means there's more total gold that goes over to EG for that one. It's even better if they can stop that turret from being pushed, but here is where the game broke. EG wants to stop this Rift Herald play, so they just commit. Notice the Ekko and the Poppy both arrived, but Poppy was half health and had no flash or ult from the previous fight they just had top lane. So instead of completely retreating, C9's actually willing to stand and fight, and they get huge rewards from it. Nisqy so freely just flashes over that wall to cut off the retreat path of Bang and Zeyzal, and then the previously killed Licorice can teleport as well to finish with the cleanup. So this is really where the game blew open, and that 4,000 gold lead still stands for C9.
It's going to look pretty good for them as Blaber starts with the blue buff, gets it a bit low, and says, all right, I guess I'll take it. I've got a Rumble and an Aatrox for my solo laners. I guess if Zven wants to come down, he can, but nope. Pure Aatrox, or sorry, pure Olaf power farm. Group them together, throw your Q through both. The leash range allows you to sit both there conveniently without them getting impatient with you. So, pro tip there for the 1 in a million chance where your solo laners don't want your blue buff. And let's be fair, in solo queue, that Rumble still wants your blue buff. Just don't let him have it. And Blaber gets some extra gold.
For sure. That's actually a fun trick that I don't see enough people do, is the Gromp and blue at the same time. Experienced junglers definitely do it, and you got to see a good example of it there. Where C9 uses this Rift Herald could clinch the series if they can get 1 or 2 turrets in mid lane and really break open that spot to give no safe place for the Ashe and Kench to set up. I think it'll be big. Blaber, head back there, buddy.
No, they pinged him. Okay.
Yeah.
Tried to cheat a couple of seconds. No, you gotta wait for it to spawn. You gotta grab it. He's fine. And I think
it's just tough.
I would almost summon it here, but I think they get it from the wave itself. No, they're gonna take the recall first. Okay. I think they're gonna set up for Drake. I think it's them taking the 1 minute recall timer and saying, okay, Mountain Drake is how we kind of secure this one, get on Soul Point, and take Mountain Soul.
Okay, so Drake in 50 seconds, Rift Herald in Blaber's hands. They probably push out mid, then drop it with about 15 seconds or so left on the Herald and move towards Drake. The way that EG is going to want to stop them is likely with some type of Ashe Arrow engage, because they don't have a flash onto Gragas. So if they can Ashe Arrow a critical target, there's no QSSs, there's no Tahm Kenches, and they would probably like to try and burst out either Nisqy or Zven. Save for that, I think they would lose a river fight against a Rumble, and they're probably going to lose this turret before the Drake goes down.
All right, well, turret only needs to take a couple 100 points of damage before the charge does the rest of it. So there's the first couple of shots. Nice explosive cast.
No.
Gets the Herald back off of it and starts a bit of wave clear. Kumo and Licorice are fighting. Kumo very tanky. Licorice down to only 70%. That was a nice ulti. It does keep the turret alive, but it is a tool missing for the Drake fight.
Yeah, EG decided to play it a different way. They are completely conceding the Drake and not going for a fight whatsoever, and they're just trying to get more gold on Jiizuke. The Gragas ultimate has temporarily saved the turret. If they can actually keep the turret up long term, this is a fine trade, because they're basically just buying themselves 5 more minutes and waiting until Jiizuke can get to a point where he might be able to one-shot Zven's Varus, which is ultimately where EG thinks they have a chance to win the game.
Yep, and I would say, as far as intrinsic value is concerned, with that top lane turret dying, both running away. Okay, and we got an engage in the mid lane. A pull again onto 2. How are you getting away from this one? There's no way out for Zeyzal. Bang's gonna try. Jiizuke is running for dear life as well. Big snipe lands. Blaber chasing in, flash away from Bang. Possible stun for Jiizuke, gets the shield at least. Here comes the equalizer without Bang having a way of rocking away. He's gotta go the slow way around. Blaber tries for action number 2, can't land that one either. Fans defeat for Bang, he's gonna get away. It is just the one for 0 off a great hook from Vulcan.
Oh, grab the red buff on the way out. But yeah, good sidesteps from Bang, but a better hook from Vulcan at the start of the fight. And now that turret that EG kind of desperately tried to defend, they're actually not letting it go down. They're TPing in again with 2 people. Kumo and Bang are both coming in.
Jiizuke burns the ult to get his health bar back up. Here comes the re-engage. Here comes the play. Nisqy's got to watch out. He's body slammed in. A rampage for the MVP of Svenskeren, at least the former one. We'll see what it looks like this time around as Licorice now has to run away, and it is a 5v4 in EG's favor. The health bars are low. The tackle forward. Kumo is going to be the one to set it all up. A flash, tongue lash kill. Kumo's got one on the board. EG get a 2 for 0. Maybe they can push something down with that map control.
Really slick finish by Kumo there. Heroic charging the Scuttle Crab to get into range to land a Q onto Blaber's ultless and at the time flashless Olaf. And EG's still a pretty low chance in this game, but they're not tilted. I gotta commend them for staying in this game, trying yet another double TP play after the first one went so horribly wrong, and trying to make opportunities work for them. I mean, if this Drake comes up in 3 minutes and they're actually able to contest, they have an outside chance of pushing this one to a 5th game.
And they've actually shrunk the gold lead temporarily to 3,500. So over the last 5 minutes, they've kept it relatively flat. Yes, they've bled that 3rd Drake buff, but they've been able to fight close to equal.
Yeah, a bunch of damage goes to Jiizuke, but he ults it away. And since one teleport went in fog, I don't think EG was actually, rather, I don't think C9 was expecting all 5 people here for EG. And since they had lost their Rumble, they were down all their ultimates, the chase through at the end was relatively simple for EG.
Anytime with gold lead flatlines, though, we saw what it looked like in Game 3. Yes, the comps were different, but when the gold lead flatlined, EG got to mid-game and found better fights. They're at least finding equal fights. Of course, the problem is they're against Soul Point. In 2 minutes, Cloud9 has a chance at grabbing the 4th Mountain Drake, grabbing Mountain Soul, and giving everyone a pretty massive 300-ish, depends the champion, point shield to add to the health bar. That is worth a lot of gold. That is worth a lot of power. That, in a lot of cases, seals the game. EG gonna have people to fight for that one, because before they've been giving that one up. Kumo and Licorice in a bit of a spat down here, but it's really just wave clear. Nice knock-up, but honestly, Kumo gets to feel pretty comfortable.
Yeah, Kumo's actually really strong right now. The 102 only down 30 CS to Licorice. The Poppy versus Aatrox is the answer I bet they wish they had earlier on in this series. There's a little bit of tension here from the side of C9. They have a flashless Rumble, who, if he gets Ashe arrowed, could just get instantly killed. Svenskeren's really strong right now, with Morel and Omicron done and Flash up. So that's a big hook. Oh, man.
That's a stopwatch to buy 2 seconds. Ashe's going to land on Blitzcrank, but they find the shutdown. Vulcan grabs it. Svenskeren's going to flash away. No cast for the disengage. Jiizuke might just want in, chooses not to. It's 5v4 on the map. That hook is giving Cloud9 a lot of control.
Yeah, I mean, that's Blitzcrank for you. As I'm talking about all this setup, Zeyzal gets hooked again. That's the 6th death on Tahm Kench, and that also burned his stopwatch, so unable to save him here. Fun fact that a lot of people forget is the Blitzcrank ult breaks shields. So Tahm Kench is not tanky against Blitzcrank. If Vulcan just holds his ult for when Zeyzal activates his gray health, then he's dead. So that's one of the reasons they're bursting down this Tahm Kench so effortlessly.
That's one of the reasons they picked Blitzcrank once they saw Tahm Kench. There's obviously like the one you can see with your eyes where he grabs someone, you grab Tahm Kench and get 2 foes, and you feel great about it. But yeah, you literally counter the primary tank mechanism with the gray health by just pressing R at the right time. And I mean, at worst, you can silence, so you can't press it either, and you kill him before the shield ever comes down. Kumo's going to find a tackle, but can't get much more. Licorice going to burn the flash, just as Kumo did. Now Jiizuke's in the back line, can't find anything more than just the shield.
Jiizuke might get a big ult.
Engage. Damage onto Licorice. Looking for the plays. It's going to be the out for the jungler of Cloud9. The top laner going to drop. Bang is safely hitting the backside. Jiizuke might be ready to re-engage. Once again, we're 20 minutes in, and EG are finding ways to team fight with a 4,000 gold deficit. But Cloud9, of course, don't want to give away the Drake. They would love to find this smite. The problem is they're outnumbered. It's 25 seconds till Licorice respawns, and I believe he will maybe, just maybe, have TP back when he does.
I mean, EG playing the long game there. They actually let Kumo reset and let Bang run back to the wave, even though they had a temporary 4v5 and an altless, flashless Olaf. They're hoping to just get another fight in this area, even though the cost of failure is so high. C9 started up again. Let's see if EG contests.
You have to win the smite, but you cannot get this away. But they find the hook on a Svenskeren, and they shut him down. That should be Soul, and it is. Vulcan is doing all of the hard work in this game. Cloud9 get Mountain Soul.
The Blitzcrank has been absolutely huge, but I have to question EG's decision not to just go for Drake after getting the kill. C9 resets up position, EG can't get their flank in order, and they burst down Svenskeren. Now with no jungler, EG's got to go. They got to stop this Baron.
Licorice is here, 5 versus 4 in favor of that. Again, they hook in the Tahm Kench. He's able to get away. Big stun comes in, but it's not enough. Jiizuke cannot find what he needs. Zeyzal brings Bang to safety, but Licorice and Nisqy are still on the chase. It's 2 more kills picked up. Even though Svenskeren respawns, his teammates are still dead, and this is pretty easy for Cloud9 if they want to simply take the reset. Jiizuke sees him recall, can't get the stun.
Whew, look at that bot difference right now, 405, 207. and then the 0-7-3 Tahm Kench. Zeyzal has tried his damnedest to get vision control down in this game, but the Blitzcrank and the Varus pick potential has just been so damn high. They have double QSS now on those two, so even if Bang tries to fight back with his Ashe ultimate, it'll be turned around. And this is a Baron that C9, even though they have the smite advantage, doesn't need to finish. They're just looking to get another 5v4. Another perfect heat-seeking hook almost onto Zeyzal from Vulcan right there. And just because they have 5 people, Bang's low on mana, Jiizuke did everything he can, but it's just not enough. And finally, you know, C9 look poised to finish off this series.
Seems quite likely here. It's not the same as Game 3. The comeback seems pretty far away from Evil Geniuses, so Cloud9 about to make their way into the LCS final. They just got to close out this game, and the odds are ever in their favor. And now we get to see Cloud9 shove down the mid lane. They're going to say, okay, we tried the Baron dance a little while ago, got us 2 kills, but now it's back to regular old sieging. Baron's there if they want it, but for now, the flash hook not going to land for Vulcan, but he tries as hard as he can. Zeyzal brings Bang to the back line to help clear the way for the inhibitors over attack. Licorice going to find Kumo, stunned up, interrupts the ult. He's going to put that in 30-second cooldown, and Kumo has to wait around for the next time he can cast that one. Regardless, mid lane's cleared away. Mid tier 2 drops. Cloud9 grow the gold lead to 6,000.
And just like, think of the mental edge that having this Mountain Soul gives them. All of those shields on everyone of C9 allows them to be so much more reckless with how they play around these turrets, because they were already winning 5v5s. Now they can just kind of, with reckless abandon, burn Vulcan's flash and feel like it's okay, and also start up this Baron, because the shield is going to absorb a lot of the initial Baron damage. I'm expecting a Scryer's Bloom from Jiizuke really soon, or a Hawkshot. If not, this is just going to be taken away by C9. Okay, there it is. They see it, but I don't think they can make it in time.
No one's even close to nearby. Licorice clears the mid lane. There's going to be a stun to him. They're going to go for the play. They're going to try to kill the Aatrox. Cast brings them back. That'll at least be a 1-for-0. But Baron still makes them pretty comfortable. Cloud9 hard engage the 4v5. Nice poppy ult, sends one back, go for the second kill towards Vulcan. They can't get it just yet. Blaber knocks down Bang, takes down the bot lane by himself, 1 versus 2. Pushes back to Jiizuke, stunned up, and oh my gosh, you're kidding, he can't even die. It's a 2-for-1 victory there in that team fight. Cloud9, they lost Licorice, start the 4v5, get 2 for nothing.
Blaber was truly an unstoppable force in that fight. He basically 1v3'd the backline as EG made a bit of a desperation play there. I actually don't completely hate it by going straight for Licorice. They know they can't make Baron in time, so they say, all right, let's get a kill, and then if C9 still tries to fight us, maybe we can win a 5v4. So right here, they kill Licorice. Jiizuke's hoping to find a big ultimate. That's why he moves down and is waiting for C9 to come in, but he can't quite get the angle and ends up ulting nothing. Meanwhile, look at the right of your screen. Through the exhaust, the true damage of his E still comes through, just blasts Bang, and then he takes on another 3 people, pushes them all away. Zven kills 1, and I believe a Triumph heal comes in at the very end to finish boosting up his health bar. So 8,000 gold, Baron in tow, Mountain Soul, C9. This might be their push to finals.
Now the silver lining is, well, at least one of them doesn't have Baron buff, as Licorice died with it, but it's not really going to matter too much. Zven is going to take some alone time at the bottom tier 2 turret. That one's going to fall. Turret number 5 goes to Cloud9's way. Add more gold, add more map control. They're looking to now knock down a inhibitor turret. Top is the only really unpushed lane. Blaber, once again, is the side laner here. He's soloing in the mid lane, as Cloud9 stand 4 stronger on the right-hand side of the screen. And here comes the wave onto the inhibitor turret. EG going to be pressed to defend this one, but Zven really not taking any damage. And he doesn't have actually good defensive tools in his squad. He can burn the cleanse and that's it, but there's no one to really get people out of the way. Huge snipe comes in, and Jason Blaber just completely shuts down Svenskeren. Now the fight is on towards Kumo, but Bang is free firing, and Blaber will lose his life. That's a 1-for-1 jungler traded on both sides. Looking at a re-engage potentially. Zven's going to feel safe. They're going to knock down the inhibitor itself, and they can walk to mid if they need to. For now, it's 1-for-1, plus the turret and the inhibitor dropping, and they might take the reset. We're only 25 seconds away from the Elder Dragon spawning, and C9 do not want to drop that one.
Yeah, I think C9 playing this one pretty safe. Blaber was hoping to end the game there after Nisqy's equalizer basically did all of Svenskeren's health, and now I think C9 is really geared up for this Elder Dragon fight. Death Stance completed onto Olaf. He also has a stopwatch that's unused. Double QSS, double stopwatch on C9 as a whole makes them very prepared for this final fight. And EG would need to get kind of a godlike ultimate from Svenskeren to unposition C9 in order to have a good chance in this fight. They're rushing before Blaber can make it, though, and C9 is going to have to go.
They're going to try the miracle play in a very, very brief 5v4. Can they make it happen? Blaber, you can see him on your screen running over to make this one happen. And this means C9 will fight full power. Going for the play into Zeyzal. Equalizer going to force Bang to flash away as Vulcan front lines. Jiizuke tries for the play, can't get much done. Licorice still holding the front side. Zeyzal running low on health. Bang's going to drop to the flame spitter. Nisqy's already on the board on this one. It's a 5v4 chase down. Kumo burns the flash. The next slow will guarantee he dies. It's all right. My life for ire. I'll drop. You can kill me, but maybe Svenskeren will live. He's waiting over the wings. Vulcan knows he's there. Can't find the hook, but can he find the steal? Has to jump over the wall. There is now no chance to take away the Elder Dragon. This will go Cloud9's way. They will now knock down Svenskeren as well. He's going to drop. That's the killing spree for Nisqy. Cloud9, 18-9. Elder Dragon buff on. They're ready to end the game.
Yeah, you love the Elder Dragon animation to execute when people get low. Still long death timers, 10 on Bang, 30 on Sven, 20 on Kumo. C9, they're probably just going to walk these waves in and try and move the finals.
This seems likely. There's almost no chance to defend this one anymore. The second inhibitor is going to drop, and Cloud9 have the wave. They have the numbers lead. They have the Elder Dragon buff. They have everything they need to close this one out. First turret's going to drop. At what point can EG defend 3v5? And that point is never. They're going to try with their fourth member as Kumo comes in. They're going to do their very best. They knock back one. They hope to find some kind of a team fight as Kumo front lines. Equalizer over the top is going to find Bang, spit back out. The rest of the squad respawns. They've got all five, and they're going to try. It's going to be valiant, but it's not going to be enough. 3 quick kills picked up. Cloud9 going to complete the best of 5. They're going to take down the Nexus and secure that ticket into finals.
C9, 3-1. A lot of us were expecting a sweep, but we generally got what we were coming for in terms of C9 being such a dominant team. There were definitely several moments in that game where it looked like EG just needed this next thing to work in order to come back. But as soon as that moment happened, Vulcan would find a hook on Blitzcrank, and the game would swing again in C9's favor. So while I think C9 would have liked to be undefeated heading into finals, they'll take heading into finals. The final prize is ultimately that LCS Spring Split Championship, where C9 as an org has been in the drought since 2014, and where none of these current players have ever achieved an LCS championship. That's the goal, and they just took down EG, who was the number 2 seed, pretty convincingly. They might see them get in the finals, and C9's got to be feeling pretty good.
Cloud9 should be feeling good. They are sitting there waiting for Championship Sunday in a week's time for one final best of 5 to secure their first crown in 6 years. We'll see if that one can happen. But to break down that Cloud9 win and look toward the rest of the postseason, we're going to check out the State Farm Analyst Desk right after a commercial break.
Hello and welcome back to the State Farm Analyst Desk following the 3-1 series victory for Cloud9. The top team in the league is able to get it done in Game 4, but that does mean, unfortunately, gents, the dream of a Queen's sweep through the playoffs is done. Zeyzal, thoughts, though, on the way that Cloud9 tied this one up?
Man, they looked really good overall, right? You know, to be able to punch through 3-1. Yes, they did have the one flub in game 3. I do think that a lot of credit is deserved by EG, though, for being able to actually take down Cloud9 for the second time this year is very impressive. And it also gives some hope to some of these other teams, and potentially even EG, if they can actually work their way back to the finals, that, hey, they are beatable. There are ways to do it. You have 2 games now to look at instead of 1 where they've lost, and maybe teams can actually start crafting some strategies to try to poke holes in the small little baby weaknesses they have.
Yeah, without a doubt. Down but not out is EG. They still have an opportunity to challenge Cloud9 again if they can get through the next best of 5 to move back into the finals. But probably I want to hammer out what happened here in Game 4, because we had a lot of talk about what would Cloud9 do from the blue side in response to the loss that they had just taken against Evil Geniuses. It looks like early game focus was the answer. Get something aggressive for Blaber as well as Nisqy and just steamroll from there.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty surprised with the Olaf and Blitzcrank picks. I mean, I think Blitzcrank into Tahm Kench is pretty smart, because Tahm Kench always wants to save someone, but doing so means Tahm Kench cannot flash, Tahm Kench's movement speed goes really low, so it becomes really easy, and at the same time, if you do hook someone, it's going to pull them away from Tahm Kench, so it's hard to save. So I like the picks. The Olaf, compared to like the Nocturne that he's playing before, feels like a very different style for this series particular, but I mean, he went full AD Olaf and was just running down the Ashe, so it's like, all right, you did a pretty good job.
And that for me is why it's so like cool to watch C9, is they have so many different things they can bust out there like onion. There's just layers of champions that they're going to pull. And, you know, I don't think Vulcan played Blitzcrank so far this split. You know, we were talking about Ignar constantly about the Blitzcrank pick, and then here he is in playoffs taking it and being able to perform really, really well. And he had some nasty hooks that we were talking about where he was able to like pick the non-obvious target that would have been saved by Tahm Kench right away or something.
Yeah, every member of Cloud9 had their fair share of highlight moments today in the series. But I do want to talk about cleanliness here, because while C9 did drop their second game of the entire season, as Zeyzal mentioned, I also kind of want to talk about the cleanliness in which they navigated this series. Dropping Game 3 the way they did, having a number of times within Game 4 itself where it felt like maybe even Evil Geniuses was about to breathe some life back into the series. Zeyzal, overall caution on Cloud9 and the fact that they seem to be playing a little bit looser, maybe?
I'm not really very concerned about it, to be honest. I do think that there are holes, and EG did show that you can exploit some of that, but that is just naturally, I think, what you're going to open yourself up to when you play as quickly as Cloud9 has throughout the whole split, right? You're not going to have like an average game time of 30 minutes and winning in 25 minutes if you're not actually taking some risks. You have to be willing to take fights. You have to be willing to go for those big plays. It's like Probably has talked about a bunch of times is, you know, all these plays where Nisqy goes for like a flash Zoe Q and could look really stupid, except he never misses it, so he looks brilliant. But there are going to come those times where you go for that insane play, that risky play that you would say, what is this guy doing if it was anyone else? But they hit it, so it works out, usually.
I mean, even in this very game, the trade mid, where both mid laners are kind of flashing, trying to outplay each other, and Rumble ends up dying, you know, but like Cloud9 feels like they make those plays so often that even when they don't work out, they bounce back from it fine, where some teams would lose confidence, like, oh, I just made a misplay mid, I'm going to play safe now. C9's like, no, I got to go again. I'll get it this time.
Yeah, taking risks feels like it's synonymous with the name Cloud9 in general, but Mark, even more so with our player of the series. This time around, going to Blaber in the jungle. This is a man who knows no limits, has no fear when it comes to taking risks, and generally, it nets him an impressive highlight play.
Absolutely incredible player. This time playing Nocturne the first 2 games. The first game was so good. The second one even better now with the help of Licorice setting him up. Finding kills in the jungle, finding kills in the mid lane, ulting all over the map. Really clever ults a couple times, like for messing with Ornn ults and stuff like that as well. So just such a great player. And like we said with the Olaf in Game 4, a different look that you never know what you're going to get out of him.
Probably let's continue talking about this young jungler who now is really building a name for himself, I think. Yes, he's been a household name knowing what his peak may have been, But given the dominance that he's displayed over summer of last year and spring this year, it's starting to feel like he's looking to etch his name in stone here historically within North America among all the junglers.
Well, one consolation prize. All right, his 3 laners were doing amazing, by the way. But other than that, still being able to play things like the Nocturne, who's like notorious for I gotta farm until 6, you guys survive, and still being able to make plays is pretty phenomenal. The fact that he has Kindred, which not many people can play successfully because it's just mechanically intensive. You need good lanes. You also need to be your ult hard, or ult is very hard to use. So there's a lot of champions he's able to play that not many others can.
Probably I'm going to jump in here because it's time for us to say goodnight and goodbye to our folks and friends over at ESPN. Thank you so much for tuning in to this first best of 5 for all of you on cable television. Hope you enjoyed the crazy world that is League of Legends, and hopefully you'll like it enough to return tomorrow. Yeah, esports, baby. Get in, enjoy. The water's warm. Thank you very much for joining us. Hopefully we'll see you there tomorrow. Good night to you on ESPN. Back over to us, gents, talking about this series and wrapping it up. I think I want to do a little bit more of a button-up on this Cloud9 and how good they have looked. So much of this split has been, I think, encapsulated through, yes, individual dominance. Probably you just kind of mentioned every single lane is winning, and therefore junglers look good as well. But they've done it while also bringing out new things. They've done it without ever kind of resting on their laurels, it seems, and on a single game plan. And I think that even continued today with some of their willingness to try out new stuff.
Definitely. I mean, they are a team that's always going to be flexible. They're willing to go for counter picks. They're willing to take these risky matchups, and to also, it's not just about one individual player saying, hey, I can play Nocturne. It's about the entire team embracing that play style and being able to adapt their play style to that, to play around it, to, enable their players, whether they're going to have to sit back and farm or play really aggressive and try to push the base of the game. That is one of the things that the team does so seamlessly that I think is often overlooked, because we look at these individual guys and we're like, great, Licorice, you can play Quinn and Ornn and Aatrox. Good job, buddy. And we kind of forget sometimes that changes how everyone else has to play around him, and how impressive it is that the rest of the team can seamlessly adapt what they need to do to enable their teammates to succeed.
Well, we continue to gush about all the players individually. I'd love to hear from one of them themselves. So it's time to head over to Licorice, who's standing by with C9's top laner.
Thank you so much, Dash. With the help of the top laner before you, Cloud9 continue their pursuit of championship status. Now, first things first, while I know this isn't something that's going to affect the competitive approach for C9, it was really cool getting to see you clash against former teammates. So how did that impact your team's experience, even if just from an emotional perspective?
For me personally, it changes a lot of the preparation, where I'm trying to focus really hard on playing just like the champion matchup and not focusing at all about who I'm playing against, because I mean, having Kumo play under me for a year, kind of like it's hard not to feel like I have to smash him or something. So a lot of my preparation was actually just on like, I'm going to play my matchup and that's it, and I'm not going to overforce, and like that's just how I prepared for it.
Well, speaking of you feeling like you have to smash him, the State Farm Analyst Desk shared statistics after Game 2 that were nearly identical from your performance on Aatrox and Ornn. So this consistent aggression, despite the differing styles of the champions themselves, is this something that you plan to always bring out, or is it sometimes just a result when the ganks come knocking top?
Personally, for me, I just try to play every champion to its limit. And I think that the Aatrox Ornn matchup is actually like a super even skill matchup, but not a lot of people play it that way. So I was fortunate enough to be able to show both sides of it today.
But we can't ignore what ended up happening in Game 3, Cloud9's second game loss of the split. So what were some challenges that you faced, whether it was going against the Poppy during the laning phase or the Aphelios and friends that popped off later on?
Yeah, the Poppy is kind of a weird pick. It's like this pick, you can play it into Aatrox, and Aatrox can't really kill you ever. Like that's the main thing it does. It doesn't push, it doesn't win lane, it doesn't even outscale, it just like doesn't die. So he didn't die, and the Aphelios Braum happened to be like really, really strong that game, and they like ran around killing all of us. So they were able to take the game off of us, but I don't know. I mean, it was just like we were in control of the whole game. We made like one mistake in bot river, and then it just went hard from there. So we weren't really worried going into the game 4.
But you and many other teammates have expressed in multiple interviews throughout the split that regardless of wins, you're always seeking to improve. So looking at the silver lining, is there anything from either that loss or maybe some other moments in the series that you feel that you can take back to the reviewing room and allow for that improvement to continue?
It's hard to look back at it like right after the game. I haven't even watched the games, but just from playing it, I think that we could definitely. I think we play a little bit like cocky sometimes, and we take fights that we don't really have to. So I think if we like clean that up a little bit and play more to the fights that we know we're gonna win and where we like have numbers advantage and we're not trying to outplay a 4v5, then I think we'll look a lot stronger.
Well, hey, that confidence also works very well for all of you in many moments, and a lot of people do predict this particular matchup to also be the finals matchup. Do you agree with that?
I think it's pretty likely that this is the finals matchup. I haven't seen anything that's super impressive from any of the teams that are in the lower bracket, but maybe we'll see something tomorrow that'll change my mind.
All right, yeah, tomorrow we do have more games to come. Thank you so much, Licorice, for speaking with me here today. And even though Cloud9 have technically doubled their losses for the split, they continue to float above the rest in competition. So more on the fight between our top 2 seeds. Let's send it back to the State Farm analyst desk.
Thank you very much, the Tigers. But I don't know if we can talk about a team that in a single day doubled their losses. That just feels like an atrocious statistic.
Is
at the end of game 1.
But Licorice there, it's really interesting to get some insight into his individual preparation, and we had talked about the individual matchups and his dominance in them, and I think it lends some interesting perspective to know that he specifically planned with that in mind, that he needed to operate well within those 1v1s, and then to extend that conversation around what might be the finals matchup, and for him to say he does believe that that they have what it takes, EG rather, to run it back through the lower bracket and meet Cloud9 once again for another best of 5.
I'm super excited about it. Like, yes, EG did lose, but they looked incredible. All things considered, against what's the best team in the league. That win that they got did feel like them really punishing C9's mistakes and making their own great plays. It was not like C9 just hard messed up an early play and just fell out of the game. These were Drake fights that they were winning down gold. That's super impressive. And with FlyQuest having a great series versus Golden Guardians, TSM, their long one versus 100 Thieves, they didn't look great, but we already know they can beat C9. Like, it's setting up a really, really great rest of the playoffs.
Well, we know that Cloud9 has just seeded themselves straight into the finals, but let's go ahead and take a look at the rest of the bracket, see what Evil Genius's road to the finals looks like in terms of making it back up there through the losers bracket. We have FlyQuest and TSM, the 4 and 5 seeds, hitting your screens tomorrow to duke it out in a best of 5. Winner of that will move on to challenge the Evil Geniuses that fell today. And then again, winner of that final best of 5 there, moving on to face Cloud9 for another shot at the top dogs. Gents, let's talk real quick. FlyQuest, TSM, thoughts on that matchup going in. We had most recently seen FlyQuest with a dominant series over Golden Guardians, having landed on their official starting roster there, was solo in for the entire series. Prolly?
Yeah, I mean, I gotta say, FlyQuest versus EG, I thought was actually pretty close. I thought FlyQuest did a really good job. And then the way they stomped Golden Guardians, they look very consistent, and TSM's match against 100 Thieves this last week was like really scary for both teams. I could never predict who's going to actually win at any point of the game. So going into this one, I'm actually pretty hyped for how FlyQuest has been playing, even though TSM does have the little, feather in their cap for, taking a game off of C9.
Azael?
It's interesting to me because I agree with what Paul is saying, that FlyQuest is this more consistent team, and if you're looking at average level of expected play, then maybe you're giving them the edge. But TSM at their best, I think, looks way better than FlyQuest's best, right? And that is kind of what you get with TSM, is they seem to be very hot or cold. The thing is, in a best of 5, you can have 2 really cold games as long as you're bringing 3 good ones.
They did that.
You can do that,
win, right? And that's the thing that is always in the back of your mind for TSM, is it's like, well, which TSM is going to show up? Is it the one that can take down Cloud9, or is it the one that can lose the CLG?
Yeah, Mark, do we get 3 hot, 2 cold, or 2 hot, 3 cold out of TSM tomorrow?
Oh God, well maybe 3 cold in a row. Who knows with this team? You never know with them. That's the problem.
Oh,
Maybe 3 hot in a row. I don't know. I'm just saying.
But that will make them consistent if they get 3 losses in a row. So
Yeah, I
that
guess
can
true.
happen.
That's true. They end their split on a consistent note. Either way, I think you've hit the nail on the head that both of these teams have showed us very high highs and some fairly low lows. So it is going to be about which version of those two teams show up on the day tomorrow. Either way, it promises to be a very exciting best of 5, and that does hit your screens again tomorrow at 1 p.m. PST, 12:45. If you want to join us here for the countdown, I'm sure we'll have lots of insightful things to say, and maybe we'll make fun of Mark. Who knows? Just as an added treat. That's going to do it from us here, though. Now, on behalf of myself, the casters, the entire remote broadcast crew, I want to thank you so much for watching with us, and we'll see you tomorrow for more of the LCS. Go wash your hands, stay healthy, and good night.